Hi, everyone. I'm Peter Waitzman, a personal financial counselor here on the Riverside Armory base. Think of me as the person that helps you navigate the money stuff so you can focus on your mission. And speaking of missions, today we're tackling one of life's biggest adventures, marriage. So whether you're already hitched, about to tie the knot, or you're just thinking about it, we're going to make sure your finances are as squared away as your dress uniform. All right, let's talk about what we're covering today. We've got communication because what's mine is mine and what's yours is mine doesn't actually work in real life. Administrative tasks, the fun paperwork that comes with saying I do. There's financial planning, making sure that you're not eating ramen in retirement. There's insurance, which is used for protecting what matters to you. And finally, we're going to talk legal documents and taxes because Uncle Sam wants his cut too, but there are smart ways to handle it. Oh, and we've got resources that'll make your life easier. So stick with me, and by the end, you'll have a plan for marital financial success. Let's start with the foundation of any good marriage, communication. And I'm not talking about grunting at each other over breakfast. I mean real conversations about money. You're going to need to discuss your financial situation, like actually know what's in each other's bank accounts. Talk about your financial goals. Are we buying a house? Are we saving for a boat? Are we planning for world domination? What about your spending habits? If one of you thinks a budget is a suggestion and the other treats it like a military order, you've probably got a problem. And don't forget about saving and investing. Retirement might seem far away, but it sneaks up on you like a surprise PT test. Bottom line, if you can't talk about money now, it's going to cause problems later. Trust me, I've been there, done that. Now, I want you to actually do something with this information. Grab the My Rating as a Money Manager handout. Fill it out honestly, no judging yourself or your spouse. This isn't a competition, and there's no prize for the highest score. Once you're done, compare your results. Maybe you'll find out your spouse has been secretly amazing with money, or maybe you'll discover they think diversifying investments means having accounts at two different banks. Either way, this is your starting point. Think about it, laugh about it, but most importantly, use it to figure out where you need to improve together. All right. Now for the fun part, paperwork. I'm just kidding. Nobody likes paperwork, but it's got to get done. So first up, we have documents. You need your marriage certificate, and I mean the real deal, not just the pretty one that you framed. You're going to get several official copies because you need to keep them for everything. Social Security, driver's license, passport, you name it. Next, you're going to want a power of attorney. This is huge, especially in the military. If you deploy, your spouse needs to be able to handle business back home. Then there's DEERS, Defense Enrollment Eligibility Reporting System. Get your spouse and any kids enrolled so they can actually use their benefits. Also, check your leave and earnings statement after you update DEERS, because sometimes the system hiccups and you don't want to end up owing money back. And if you have got kids, think about guardianship. Nobody wants to think about worst case scenarios, but you need a plan. Now, let's talk money management. The 4-step spending plan is your friend. Step 1, understand your current situation. Where's your money actually going? Step 2, know where your money should go. Step 3, create a plan. And step 4, make adjustments because life happens and plans change. It's not complicated, but you've got to actually do it. And while we're at it, set some financial goals together. Short-term stuff like where are we going to go on vacation next year? And the long-term stuff like let's not work until we're 90. Figure out how much you need to save to hit those goals, and then here's the key. Use reminders to stay on track. Set up your automatic transfers, your calendar alerts, whatever works, because good intentions without action are just daydreams. Here's the spending plan cycle in action. Step 1, understand your current situation. Pull up your bank statements and see where the money's actually going. You might be surprised or horrified, all right? Step 2, know where your money should go. This is where you prioritize housing, food, savings, fun money. And step 3, create a plan. Write it down, use an app, whatever you want, just make it real. Step 4, make adjustments. Maybe your car broke down, maybe you got a raise, or maybe you decided you don't actually need 5 streaming services. Life changes all the time, and your plan should change too. And rinse and repeat. This isn't a once and done type of thing. It's a continuous cycle that's going to go on for your whole life. Financial goals are your roadmap. Discuss them with your spouse. Set some goals together so that you're both pulling in the same direction. Figure out how much you need to save to actually achieve those goals, because someday isn't a plan. Break them into short-term and long-term goals. Short-term might be saving for a down payment on a car. Long-term might be retiring to a beach somewhere. And here's the trick. Use reminders to stay on track. Put it on your calendar, set up automatic savings, make it so easy that you'd have to actively try to fail. Because left to our own devices, most of us will spend that money on something shiny and just regret it later. Now, let's get into the nitty-gritty. Housing. Where are you living? Can you afford it? Transportation. Do you need 2 cars? Can you get by with 1? What's your emergency fund situation? Your financial safety net. Aim for a few months of expenses, because life loves throwing curveballs. What's your banking situation? Figure out if you're doing joint accounts or separate accounts or some sort of hybrid combination. Get your power of attorney. Again, super important if you're in the military. Payable on death designations. This ensures your money goes where you want if something happens to you. And finally, what about paying the bills? Set up a system that works for both of you, because late fees are just throwing money away. Now, let's talk credit and debt, because this is where a lot of people get into trouble. First, be a smart consumer. That means not buying stuff you can't afford just because you can swipe a card. Secondly, protect yourself against identity theft. Monitor your credit. Use strong passwords. Don't click on those sketchy links. And third, know the laws that help service members. The Service Members Civil Relief Act, SCRA, can cap interest rates and protect you from certain legal actions while you're on active duty. Use it. And finally, there are handouts available that go into way more detail on all of this. Grab them, read them, use them. Your credit score is like your financial report card, and lenders use it to decide if they're going to give you money and at what interest rate. The scale runs from 300 to 850. Anything above 670 makes life a lot easier. You're going to get better rates on loans, credit cards, all that good stuff. If your score is below that, don't panic, but do make a plan to improve it. You can get a free credit report once a year from each of the 3 major bureaus. Check them, make sure there aren't any errors. And if your score needs some work, talk to a financial counselor like me. We'll figure out a game plan. There are lots of tricks we can use to get your score up over time. And hey, there's also free credit monitoring available to you as a service member, so use it. So, what actually affects your credit score? 5 things. Payment history is the biggest. It's 35% of your score. Pay your bills on time, every time. No excuses. This makes the biggest impact. Next is the amount of debt you owe. That's 30%. Keep your credit card balances as low as possible. And there's the length of credit history, which is 15%. The longer you've had credit, the better. So don't close your oldest credit card unless you have a really good reason to do so. Types of credit is 10%. Having a mix of credit cards and car loans, etc., is actually really good. And finally, new credit is 10%. Don't go applying for a bunch of credit cards all at once, because that makes you look desperate. And by the way, there's free credit monitoring available to service members, as I just mentioned. So again, use it. Now, let's talk about debt. Debt isn't inherently bad, but you've got to manage it smartly. Here's a rule of thumb. Your housing costs, your mortgage or rent, should be no more than your basic allowance for housing, or 25% of your pre-tax pay, whichever is applicable. Your car payment should be 15 to 20% of pre-tax pay. And your total debt, everything combined, should be less than 36 to 43% of your pre-tax pay. If you're over that, you're in the danger zone. Also, pay your credit cards in full every month if you can. Interest on credit card debt is a killer, and it's money you're just giving away. If you're struggling with debt, come talk to me or one of the personal financial counselors. We'll help you figure it out. Retirement might also seem like it's a million years away, but it's never too early to start planning. Understanding the military retirement system, there are different options depending on when you joined, and they're not all the same. So, review your retirement savings goals with your spouse and make sure you're on the same page. And look at your savings options. TSP, the Thrift Savings Plan, 401k if your spouse has one through their employer, or if you do through your full-time job, a 403b if you're at a municipal job, IRAs. There are lots of ways to save for retirement, and you should be using at least some of them. The earlier you start, the more time your money has to grow, and compound interest is basically magic in the finance world. Here's the thing about military life. There are tons of benefits available to you, but only if you know about them and actually use them. We're talking survivor benefits, education benefits, spouse resources, legal assistance. There's a whole menu of stuff. So don't leave money or benefits on the table just because you didn't know they existed. Take the time to learn what's available to you and your family. And if you're not sure, just ask. That's literally what I'm here for. Now, nobody wants to think about worst case scenarios, but we have to. If something happens to you, what happens to your family? There are a bunch of survivor benefits available. Service Members Group Life Insurance, SGLI, casualty assistance, dependency and indemnification compensation, education benefits for your dependents, and more. There's also the Survivor Benefit Plan, SBP, which provides ongoing income to your survivors if you retire from the military. Review the handout on survivor benefits. It's got all the details. Make sure your family knows what's available and how to access it. Now, we need to talk about education benefits. Education is expensive, but there are ways to make it more affordable. You've got the post 9/11 GI Bill, which can transfer to your spouse or kids if you meet certain requirements. There's also tuition assistance while you're still serving. The Education Benefits and Savings handout covers all of this in detail, including how to apply, what the requirements are, and don't let your benefits expire or go unused. Education is one of the best investments you can make. Military spouses face unique challenges, especially when it comes to careers. Frequent moves, limited job opportunities. It's tough, but there are resources available. You can get reimbursed for state licensure and certification costs when you PCS. There's the My Career Advantage account, MyCAA, scholarship for spouses pursuing certain degrees or certifications. There are non-competitive job opportunities with the federal government specifically for military spouses. And there are organizations like Military OneSource, Army Community Service, and the Military Spouse Employment Partnership that are there to help you. Use them. Let's talk about insurance. Insurance isn't the most exciting topic, but it's super important. Let's break it down. Health insurance. If you're active duty, you're automatically enrolled in TRICARE, but you need to enroll your spouse and kids. There are different TRICARE plans, Prime, Select, and others, and they have different costs and coverage. Figure out which one makes sense for your family. If your spouse has health insurance through their job, you'll need to coordinate the benefits. And Reserve and Guard members have TRICARE Reserve Select, which you have to actively enroll in and pay for. Don't let your coverage lapse. Let's talk dental and vision. Dental and vision insurance are optional, but they're worth considering. The Federal Employees Dental and Vision Insurance Program is available, but there's an additional monthly cost. Weigh the cost against the benefits and decide if it makes sense for your family. If you have kids, dental coverage is usually a good idea. Kids and dental issues go hand in hand. Property insurance covers your stuff and protects you from liability. If you own a home, you need homeowners insurance. If you rent, you need renter's insurance. And if you've got some high-value items like expensive electronics or jewelry or collectibles, you might need additional coverage. Also, don't skimp on liability coverage. If someone gets hurt on your property and sues you, you want to be protected. Review and update your policies regularly, especially after major life changes like getting married. Life insurance exists to protect your family financially if something happens to you. Marriage changes your life insurance needs because now you've got someone who depends on your income. The goal is to reduce financial hardship for your loved ones. So how much do you need? Well, a good rule of thumb is enough to cover your debts, replace your income for a certain number of years, cover your final expenses, and maybe fund any major goals like your kids' education. You've got 3 main types of life insurance to think about. Service Members Group Life Insurance, SGLI, is automatic unless you opt out. Don't opt out. It's cheap and it's good coverage. Family SGLI covers your spouse and kids. Enroll your spouse, and your kids under 10 are automatically covered if you're enrolled. Then there's private life insurance, which comes in 2 flavors, term and permanent. Term is cheaper and covers you for a set period of time. Permanent costs more, but builds cash value and lasts your whole life. Most people are better off with term, but it depends on your situation. When you get married, update your beneficiaries. This includes SGLI, any private life insurance, your DD Form 93 for unpaid pay and allowances, and your TSP. Make sure your money goes where you want it to. And review your beneficiaries regularly, especially after major life events. You don't want your ex getting your life insurance payout because you forgot to update the paperwork. Here's a simple way to calculate how much life insurance you need. Use the acronym LIFE. L is for liabilities, debts you want to pay off. I is for income you want to replace. Multiply your annual income by however many years you want to cover it. F is for funeral and final expenses. E is for education and other goals. Add those all up, then subtract any life insurance and assets that you already have, and the result is how much additional insurance you need. If SGLI doesn't cover it all, consider getting a private policy to fill that gap. Now, let's talk legal stuff and taxes. Yeah, it's exciting. Don't leave yet, but it matters. Estate planning sounds morbid, but it's really just making sure your wishes are carried out if something happens to you. You need a will, which says who gets your stuff. You need a power of attorney so someone can handle your affairs if you can't. A living will spells out your medical wishes. A trust can help you manage and protect your assets. Asset titling determines who owns what and how it's transferred. And if you've got kids, you need to designate a guardian. The good news? The base legal office will help you with all of this stuff for free, so use them. Taxes change when you get married. You need to review your tax situation and update your withholding. Do this through MyPay. Married couples can file jointly or separately, and which one is better depends on your situation. If you're not sure, talk to a tax professional or use the free MilTax service through Military OneSource. Also, the Military Spouse Residency Relief Act lets your spouse keep their home state for tax purposes, even if you move because of military orders. This can save you money, so look into it. All right, let's wrap this up. Marriage is awesome, but it comes with financial responsibilities. Communicate with your spouse about money. Handle the administrative tasks, update DEERs, get IDs, change beneficiaries. Make a financial plan and stick to it. Protect yourselves with the right insurance. Get your legal documents in order. It sounds like a lot, but take it one step at a time and remember, you don't have to do it alone. There are resources available. Army Community Service, Military OneSource, the base legal office, and personal financial counselors. If you need help, that's what I'm here for. So, congratulations on getting married. Now go talk to your spouse about your financial situation and start planning your first steps together. You've got this. And seriously, if you have any questions or need any help, come see a personal financial counselor. Let's get your finances as squared away as your uniform. So thanks for your time and enjoy the journey.